Hey there, YouTubers. So I just had a bit of a chain wag with Beyond Blue on phone. Um, well, I tried to ask them for some, for something like you know, some guidances, some concrete advice on how to treat, um, let's just say, any sort of mental disorder like intrusive thoughts, pervasive intrusive thoughts, depression or chronic depression, or and bipolar disorder, and and all those com- compulsive or obsessive thoughts that's associated with those medical conditions. So I contacted them for something specific in order to alleviate the conditions, but yes, I can now pretty much safely assume that they do not specialize in existing desperate um, desperate folks, especially young men. Um, and I can pretty much attribute to such, I can pretty much attribute such phenomena to, of course, nowadays rampant gynocentrism as well as feminism. Yes, that has taken a foothold and fortified itself on the Australian continent. But I suppose I shall not go into too much details about the growth and the thriving gynocentrism and feminism in Australia for this particular video, because today I like to make you something that something more productive and probably somewhat encouraging. Because so far I can tell you with utter certainty that I have gathered some ideas from this um, from this failed attempt to get help, because you know what, wisdom comes from pain, and through certain painful or traumatizing experiences can you only start to remotely realize that you just need to do something about it in order to change your current status, your current conditions. And that means you can't depend on others for your happiness and well-being, especially on women. You can't depend on them, no matter the situation. Period. Unless yes, there are certain exceptions. Yes, unless they or your grandmas, or or that, or who have some blood ties, some blood ties, some you know family relationship. Yes, unless except such circumstances, except um, circumstances like that, there will be no other exceptions whatsoever. And that's the hard truth. And I know the truth can sound highly traumatizing to probably to pretty much all of you guys there. And I can always relate to that, because I myself um, have fallen not just the victim but prostitutes to, to my own life, because um, you know we all the I I I'd say that the vast majority of men have to work our asses off in order to earn the validation and approval from women, and that in turn create the perfect condition for them to have to have the wealth we created squandered by them. Don't you find that extremely unrighteous and, you know, unjust and unfair? So that should become the number one motivator for you, for me, to create something more productive, such as writing a book about MGTOW, gynocentrism, and how to, try your very, make your very best attempt using your very best effort and focus to make that into a to make such idea become a reality. And I think that's not even remotely impossible, because first of all, if you are currently watching my video, then you definitely have the access to the internet, or probably you might be watching it using a mobile device such as an iPhone or an Android phone or whatsoever. But first of all, you have the power. Let me tell you straight, you have the power. You have the device, the instrument to create something that can awaken the vast majority of men there who who have fallen victim to nowadays worldly indoctrination perpetuated by gynocentrism, feminism, and the people behind it, and of course the evil principalities and spiritual entities behind it. And yes, you can also use the Bible to defeat them. And no doubt, it goes without saying that Satan is now using, he is running rampant inside, in the air, or right above us, right above us, in the air, in the lower atmosphere of planet Earth. And in turn, he is also, he also creates and maintains the matrix consisting of a multitude of ideologies, principalities, including but are not limited to gynocentrism and feminism. Yes, because you see, man, we essentially represent the very image of God, and all things considered, God Himself, who best manifested as Jesus Christ, God in human form, or God in human flesh. It's always a male. That's why we receive the most pervasive and severe oppression from the world and the society. Yes, so yes, there are definitely ways to overcome that. Believe me, I firmly believe we have, we have the resources, and we have the instruments and the devices to overcome that, by writing, by making your voice heard, by making people who don't want to hear our voices hear our voices. There are definitely ways to make that happen. We can either start small or start big, but the ultimate goal is to subdue any forces opposing God, opposing men's authority, because we men, we represent God's authority. Don't you agree? So yes, in fact, I am seeking any advice or recommendations from you guys, especially single and Christian and MGTOW Jude or blokes. I am I am I stand ready and willing to gather and hear your recommendations, voices for the book I am about to start writing. Presumably and provisionally, I like to I like to name the title of such book. Let's say Grabby, Grabby, you know, Grabby Guide or the Guide of Grabby. Grabby, Grabby, the Guide of Grabby. In fact, let's say it such the name such title originated from a social phenomena that's happening right now in China, though not in my city where I am residing in, but it's happening right now in the southern part of China, in a city named Shenzhen, in Canton province. There's a bunch of Jews, mostly single and relatively, let's say, or academically uneducated, who are not willing to succumb to the 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 system imposed upon him, where they had to work 24/6 or 24/7 even. They it's I can I can assure you that such system, um there are no worse system than such system, so far as I can perceive. So they are living in an, let's say, in a condition where they can enjoy what they have, though it's not much, but still they have the access to the internet and the computer with the access to the internet. They can they can just re- by refusing to work on a full-time basis, so that thereby enabling them to launch a silent strike against the system, against the gynocentric system in China. And don't get too surprised at the statement I just made, because in China, feminism and gynocentrism and whatsoever have run more rampant than you and I could ever imagine. So, as a result, I like to begin writing such book in about several days after I finish my preparation to travel to Foshan in Canton province, in Foshan Canton, in Canton province. Yes, I will explain such arrangement in detail in my next YouTube in my next videos on YouTube. Um, yes. So in case you feel interested in such social phenomena called Sanhe Daxuan in in Shenzhen, China, you can Google the keyword there. It's let me please allow me to spell it for you. It's Shen Shenzhen, and Dashen. Sorry, it's S. Please forget what I just said. It's SAN. Sorry, SANHE D. Sorry, SANHE space and DASHEN. remember that. So yes, let the rejections, the suffering, and the trauma you had become the fuel, become the motivator to fuel our endeavor, to fuel our undertaking, to fuel our this gigantic glory. Uh, sorry, excuse me. Let all your past trauma, suffering, and pain become the motivator to fuel our glorious and gigantic and holy undertaking. So I suppose I that's pretty much all I can say for tonight. Um, kind of got some back pain or wrist pain, so if you guys can excuse me for a while. But regardless, I shall continue to make more YouTube videos, and yes, if if um if needs be, I shall begin to show you guys how to make MGTOW not just a lifestyle but a business, a profitable business that can make each and every man on planet Earth's lives better. So thank you again for watching and listening. I shall see you on the next video on YouTube. Bye bye. Cheers.